Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto, Willies. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTO. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to Northeast Texas, Southeast Texas, Northwest Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, and to every nook and cranny receiving our 100,000 watt signal permeating or penetrating those little boxes, sometimes big boxes known as radios. For those who are still listening to us on radios, of course, there are many who are streaming us. There are many who are listening to us in many different forms on the internet. Good morning to the entire world who listens to us on the internet, that magical thing previously known as the ARPANET, created by the tax dollars and the intellect of we the people of the United States, we the people of the world, and of course taken advantage of and capitalized by a few billionaires who, while many revere, by technical terms based on their function, can only be called parasites. Anyway, before we go any further, let's go to the geniuses in the studio. Good morning, Howard and Jacques.
Well, there's both geniuses here. We're looking for those guys. We're just kind of like Laurel and Hardy in here. This is another fine match.
Gee, Ollie.
And good morning to Perth, Australia. Why the heck not?
Why hell not? I knew that was coming. Why the hell not?
Why the hell not? Okay, we're not going to get over here and answer the phone, so Jack, take it away.
All right. Good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, Jack. What do you have for me today?
Well, they'll play off your post this morning. Massive corporate profits are being made off the purses and pockets of the poor and working poor. Pricing power of the corporate is set for what the middle class can bear to pay, which leaves the poor struggling to make ends meet. The corporate is becoming more and more predatory on the people, looking to bolster their profits off the backs of the poor. So, I mean, that's just as far as I got before I had to do some work this morning.
Before I really messed up your writing because we had some connection issues. I'm so sorry, Jack. Later on in the program, if you have some more, I just let me know and we'll add some more from you, my brother. But I really wanted. Go ahead.
They're turning into vampires, just looking for more and more blood.
Turning into vampires?
They've turned into vampires.
I was going to say they've been vampires for quite some time now.
Well, who was it that made that phrase? When I was calling them, you made it.
It was me. Yeah,
it was you.
Yeah.
We went from vulture capitalism to vampire capitalism, right?
Right.
I think that that was that Howard or Jack that invented the phrase?
Oh no, that was Jack.
That was Jack. Okay,
great phrase.
Well,
I'm not that smart.
Well, I don't know about all of that, but I mean, we have a bunch of smart people around here. But I wanted to get into my monologue, but John is on the line, so you know me. It got to be John first. So come on in, brother John.
How's it going?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Talk to me, my dear brother. Talk to me.
I called in yesterday to ask a question about why the race is so close, and I never got in. But luckily, I stayed on the deal and on the station and followed your interview with John Pavlich.
Oh, he's great, isn't he?
Yeah, so I saw that interview with him, and to be honest with you, I'm probably going to have to watch it a couple of more times because I don't know if I got a clear answer that I was happy with. That I put it that way. And I said, well, let me call and see if you can explain it better than what I read or what I.
Let me expand on Pavlovitz, because first of all, let me tell you, I have so much respect for John Pavlovitz. He was a pastor for a mega church in, I think it was North Carolina. And after MAGA came to fruition, and I mean, he wasn't going to leave the church just because of MAGA. Again, people can vote however they want, etc. He left the church pretty much because of the lack of humanity of what he saw in the evangelical movement. But here, let me give some clarifications there. The race is close because we have been misled for a very long time. Let me just say this. Think about this. Think about Obama for a second. And think about Obama having 3 baby mamas. Think about Obama sexually assaulting women. Think about Obama ripping people off from, creating false universities and ripping them off. Think about all of that in Obama. That would put a visceral hate by America. All Americans would have a visceral hate for Obama if he did all those things. They would say we could not lift Obama up to be president of the United States because of those moral failings. That is what we would say. Now, when it comes to Donald Trump, we have a proclivity as Americans, right? That we segment people, right? And I hate to put it this way, but I think Pavlovitz did it appropriately. There is something in a patriarchal society that gives the patriarch, the one who is considered the patriarch, gives them a way that they can do, they can have moral failings, but because they are the patriarch, it is okay to give a pass. And that, so Donald Trump as the patriarch, who America sees as a patriarch, he gets a pass with moral failings. On my 3 o'clock show, I have several guys that are staunch supporters of this guy. And I asked them if they would allow their daughters to go out with a rapist. No. Will you have a rapist over for dinner? No. And all these things they asked, no. They answered no. But they still don't correlate voting for the patriarch as president. Now, we as a country have yet another problem. England, Pakistan, countries that we consider bad to women, good to women, or whatever, they have already elected a woman as president, right? We, to date, we haven't. Hillary Clinton was the most qualified person running for in the entire. And by the way, I wasn't a Hillary Clinton supporter because I don't think the most, the most experienced person has to win. I think somebody with a vision also has to win, right? Somebody who can say, we want to move things forward has to win. Now, Hillary was most competent. While she won the popular vote, she still couldn't get across the hump of patriarchy because of those states, because we don't have a democracy, and because of those states in the Electoral College that are, again, behind when it comes to progress. We couldn't get her elected. Now, we go back to your central question. I wanted to pre the question with those statements of realities. Now, when you look at Kamala has several things that she has to overcome. One, being a woman, and that's the major thing that she has to overcome. A lot of people say, color, she's a woman of color, both Indian and black. And we proved that color is a problem in America, but still it can be overcome. Barack proved that it could be overcome when you have a lot of other incidentals. But the toughest thing to overcome in America is its sexist nature. And that, along with the manipulation of the minds of Americans. Let me give an example. The economy, technically speaking, is doing much better than under Trump. The numbers say it. Inflation is a real thing, but even inflation was something that Trump was the precursor to inflation. Inflation just doesn't happen. You have to lay the groundwork for inflation to occur. And Trump did lay the groundwork for inflation to occur, tariffs and the mismanagement of COVID. The media is not reporting that in that manner. Why again? Because there is the restraint that the media usually has for the one they consider the patriarch. And in doing so, what you also get is you get that, well, if America doesn't have the full view of how bad this patriarch is or what he has done, if a large, not plurality of America doesn't have that, then it will create a close race. So she has to fight against the media. I have a piece that I'm supposed to play today. I probably won't get to it. That says, notice the question, John. They're constantly asking her, what are the specifics? She hasn't been specific in her plan, right? She has come out and given numbers. Right. She has given numbers to the plan that she has as far as small business. Go ahead.
He doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to do that. That's the problem.
Exactly.
And some of the throughout the last 8 years have been women willing to be subservient.
Exactly.
And through religion, they allow themselves. Doesn't matter about economics. Doesn't matter about Gaza. All that matters is the religion.
Right. And what I'm saying, that plays a big part of it as well. But here's the thing, right? I think, yes. And that's why you have programs like what we do here, and there are many, many others doing this, right? The idea is we have to go around the system, the system that misleads, the one that make you believe immigrants are a problem. Like the media should have taken immigrants out of the equation long time ago because it's a lie, right? But they allow plausibility for what Donald Trump and the right wing is saying. They allow plausibility. And in allowing plausibility, you get a close election. This election should be a landslide already. I think it's still going to be a landslide, but we shouldn't have to do this work. I honestly think it's going to be.
Landslide. You think it's going to be a landslide?
Yes, that's my thought. I mean, I could be wrong, but let me tell you why I think that. I see the fast pace with which she has climbed the ladder to clean up Biden's deficiencies. And when I say deficiency, I'm not talking about technical deficiency. Biden saved the damn economy. There's no doubt about it. He allowed the processes to occur to save the economy and to save quite a bit. And if you doubt that, look at every single Western economy across the world. We are the only one where inflation has really tanked. We're the only one that have recovered as far as GDP is concerned. England is still in dire straits. France is still in dire straits. Our economy is the envy of the world. Look, I don't agree with our economy, okay, because I still think it's a antiseptic slavery economy. But from a capitalist standpoint, compared to all the other capitalist nations, we are way ahead of all of them. And I'm not talking a little bit. I'm talking by leaps and bounds. Our economy is way ahead. It has actually come back.
What the media and the government look at, what the government and media look at as economy, the average American like myself, and I'm a middle class, worked 36 years for my company, retired. Mm-hmm. I look at grocery prices.
Exactly. Gasoline. Right. And you know what? Here's the
economy,
John, and that is exactly how we should look at it. We should look at it that way. And the story that I'm doing today, after I'm done with your call and Jacob's call, is going to talk about that. So, but as far as why the election is close, I hope I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. But do listen to that interview again with Pavlovich. He is really, really good, and he laid out, I think, 5 points. Yeah. Thank you very much, John. Yeah. We'll talk later. Let me get to Jacob, and then I get to my monologue.
Right.
Thank you, brother. Peace. Let's go to Brother Jacob. Brother Jacob, how you doing, sir?
I'm blessed. Que paso, amigo. and sock say.
You know what? I love your voice, man. I gotta tell you that. You're my second James Earl Jones. Rest in peace, brother James.
Shalom, Mikey. Shalom, Mikey. Right. Shalom.
All right. Hey, talk to me.
Now, what they really trying to say about the Haitians is not really the dogs and the cats. It's really about the ducks. They said that they should go down through Florida.
Jacob, stop it. Jacob, stop it. Hey, stop it.
I mean, that's the story. You know what I mean?
Hey, Jacob, but the reason they had to bring dogs, hold on, Jacob. The reason they had to bring dogs in, right? Because let's say it's true, it's a duck. Duck is a meat that we love here in the United States of America, right? What is that thing they make with duck liver? They overfeed the ducks and they use a fatty duck liver. I forgot what they call it. I know Howard knows what it is, but
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't think of it, but yes. Duck.
So what they did, they were hunting in the city, man. It's like I could hunt in my backyard for squirrels, right?
They do that too. They do that too. I'm not Haitians, but I'm just saying down in the South they eat squirrel. A lot of my mother from Mississippi and my father from Louisiana and my dad, he hunted and stuff like that. But Haiti, now this is a trip about Haiti. And really why I got a problem with them. In Haiti, they sent from Kenya army. The UN sent them to Haiti to say that the gangs are taking over the country. When it's usually the military that used to run when the president was over, they are taking over the city. So they went to bring some black Kenyans over to Haiti to go to war with them. And to that there's so much violence there in Haiti. Now I'm gonna get off the phone to your monologue. Now the way that y'all feel about the elite and that they blood suckers, that's how I feel being a descendant of the ones who actually laid the foundation, that you know what I mean, that they really did like that for all them centuries that the country was built. That's why I feel that way. The way y'all feel about them, that's how I feel about the country. That's how I feel about it. It was built off of our blood, sweat, and tears, adventures, and everything else. And that's how I feel about them. So we need to get
before you go, Jacob. Before you go, I'm gonna ask you a favor. Before you go, have you ever read up on the history of Haiti?
Yeah. The Haiti, they gained their independence. They was one of the first black nation to actually gain their independence from the French.
Yes.
They won the French. And that's why they don't like them now. They won. And now that's why they was getting all this money under Hillary when they had that disaster. They was getting all this money and they never gave it to them. They never built. They just sucked all the money.
Right. So, you understand. You understand what's going on. I think you understand the gist of it then. So, I mean, I thought you didn't know it, but look, I stand corrected because people don't understand. You know, Haiti, after it gained its independence, the slaves from France, it had to pay France for the property that they were. In other words, all these slaves had to pay France back because these slaves were no longer property. They had to buy themselves. And there was a burden on Haiti, and I'm telling this for the population. I know you know that already. But the Haitians had to pay France for their liberation. It blows the mind. And by the way, France has its own dollar. There's a whole story about exploitation of Haiti, Africa, and all of that. But we'll talk about that another day. But thank you, Jacob, for calling in. By the way, Jacob, Eric, Jacob, Eric is on the line, right? Yesterday on our 3:00 show, Eric thought that somehow you and I had some sort of a riff. And I told him, no, we just have vivid conversations. So, I mean, Eric just don't understand. I mean, he thought that I cut you off and all of that. No, we were having a vivid conversation. But, hey, David, can I go to my not David. Jacob, can I go to my monologue? Right. There you go. All right, brother. Thank you. All right, folks. Look, Jack started this. He went into the post that I did. And I just want to use Kroger as the kick-in person right now. And the reason I'm using, and by the way, Kroger, it's, for the amount of profit that they made, it's massive, but it's not as bad as what a lot of other companies have made based on their total sales, etc., to milk we the people. But hell, they're the poster child for now because they're trying to merge with Albertson. And as Jacob just said as well, the things that bother middle-class America in its immediacy is grocery prices and gasoline prices, because those are the things we use every day. Those are the things for survival. So a post that triggered me on this issue was from Common Dreams, which is one of the progressive rags I read daily. It said, Kroger posts massive profits amid price gouging, outcry, and merger push. So here we have Kroger wanting to merge with Albertson, another big grocery chain, and they want to do that. Let's remember something, people. Whenever a company merges or whenever a company talks about shrinking or doing whatever it has to do for efficiency, they always on the outside tell people this is going to be better for you, the average middle class, poor person, the average American citizen. They always say this is for you. Before I even start this discussion, I want you to recall what Milton Friedman said, the god of capitalism. What he said is the executives of the company, the people who run the company, they should have no concerns over goodwill. They should have no concerns over employee. He didn't say specifically employee, but it was implied. They should have no concern over the environment or anything. The sole purpose of the executives of a corporation is to maximize the profits of the shareholders. One of the reasons I have an issue with capitalism, not free enterprise. In America, we like to conflate free enterprise, capitalism, and democracy. I want everybody listening to my voice to understand that the second largest capitalist country is China. They can try to picture it and put it any manner they wish. China is a capitalist country. There are stocks in their companies, etc. Now, when it comes to, we're talking about the American system right now. As Milton Friedman said, the only thing executives are to be concerned about is the valuation of their shareholders, maximizing profit for their shareholders. In other words, sucking as much money out of the economy and giving it to their shareholders. And for doing that, those executives get big bonuses. Remember, the shareholders do no work. The executives do no work. The employees do all the work, and they profit from the work of the employees by giving them wages. Sometimes if to entice the employees, they may give the employees lower bonuses, etc. But remember, ultimately speaking, who is to benefit from any action done by a corporation? Now, to make corporations look kind of good, many of them will contribute to foundations, charitable foundations, etc., as long as those foundations make it known that these corporations gave to them, as long as these foundations make it known that, hey, we are kind of good, you know. We're not only in this for the shareholders. With that preface, I'll go. Grocery giant Kroger's practice of price gouging in order to pass on its inflation to customers. Remember those high prices for eggs? Remember those high prices for milk? And all, we are screaming. And they are saying, supply chain problem. They're saying, we have additional costs. Some of that is true because the oil companies screwed all of us. They increased the price of oil for absolutely no reason. I had a discussion with a good friend. He was saying, well, you know, they didn't have a place to store the oil for a while, and then later on they cut. It's all junk coming from the oil companies. They simply ripped us off. Period. Point sink banner. They ripped us off. And as they're ripping us off, the oil companies, as they're charging more oil to the farmers, as they're charging more oil to all these other entities, that price is passed on. Well, we got a memo from Kroger, an internal memo from Kroger. Yeah, those prices were a bit higher, but we took them even higher. We used the excuse of supply chain. We used the excuse of the oil prices being higher to even charge Americans a higher price than what it cost us. And thus, you were the pawns in the game. And now, Kroger, in order to even make more money after these extensive, massive profits for themselves, they now want to say, all right, we want to buy Albertson. What does that do? We buy Albertson, we create bigger stores, we have less employees to pay, right? And guess what that also means? As opposed to there being Albertson in one corner, Kroger in another, H-E-B in another, Walmart in another, we have taken one competitor out of the market. And because we take one competitor out of the market, a free enterprise system, guess what happens? No longer do they have that can of beans, no longer has to be $1.10. It can now be $1.30. But you can't do a damn thing about it because Albertson is not across the street anymore to compete on price and to say, I want your business. So that is going to cause that price to go up because there's no competition. There are two things that cause prices to go up: scarcity and no competition. People like to add another thing. If you throw a lot of money into the economy. No, throwing a lot of money into the economy simply give the people with pricing power the ability to say, well, I know they got money, so I'm going to price. I'll do that other piece of capitalism called whatever the market will bear. What is it again? Whatever the market will bear, which says you don't get a chance to save. If you have money, I'll take it away from you, which is the same thing with reverse mortgages. And well, we'll go into that another time. So the idea here, people, is the following. The corporations keep you misled. With the help of the media, they keep you misled. They have you believe that somehow Biden has the fault. Biden policies somehow caused inflation. The policy that started inflation was when Donald Trump threw tariffs on to these products. And by the way, by putting tariffs onto these products, he screwed the farmers. And then some of the money that he got from the tariffs, he had to give back to the farmers with the expectation that they will still vote for him. In other words, the farmers get money not to do anything, welfare. What I'm trying to say, my dear brothers and sisters, is remember, in our capitalist system, every time you hear a corporation say that they're doing anything out of the sake of making things better for you, it is never the case. Corporations do not have your best interest at hand. The executive has his next bonus, what his next bonus is going to be, and the shareholder has how much more can I get? How much more can I skim from your labor? How much more can I skim from your spending? Now, when you understand these concepts, you can start judging politicians for the things that they say they're going to do, right? You can start saying, well, politicians, are you going to have some sort of regulations that says if prices get to a certain point, what we will do is tax it right back out of the system when we see those massive profits and then redistribute that right back to the people. Let me give a good example. The people's grocery budget was probably $3,000-$4,000 more over the last 4 years. And all that money didn't just disappear. That money went into the coffers of corporations who made massive profits. I don't know what the formula would be. I don't know, but we are the ones who afforded those profits. Those profits did not occur in a vacuum. Those profits didn't occur because these people did a day's labor of work. Those shareholders that are saying, well, we are risking our money, that's bunk because you risked your life. When you work in that factory, when you were sitting down as a secretary, when you're sitting down there, you are risking your life. Suppose somebody comes in there with a gun. Suppose you get carpal tunnel syndrome. Everybody is risking something. And the people that risk the least are the people that's risking the capital because it's not part of your body. It is so essential that we understand what our worth is. And we have taken what capitalism has done is taken your human worth away. It is always about how do we maximize for the few, not how do we maximize for the many, how do we maximize for the few, right? Not based on work, not based on worth. When I talk about a billionaire being a parasite, I am not being hyperbolic. I am saying by definition of what a parasite does, that's what billionaires do. They go into the flesh of the economy and they multiply that which takes away. Again, a billionaire, there's no person who has worked the amount of hours, the amount of labor, or have the actual intellect to be a billionaire. Bill Gates is a nice guy. Warren Buffett is a nice guy. These are not bad people. These are guys that are simply living within the system that was created at our inception. That doesn't mean that the system is a fair system. That doesn't mean that the system is a humane system. It isn't. The fact that we have so much money in this economy, and every day you go out there and watch people working hard and have to be stressing themselves out how to be paying a bill, even as they work hard. And Americans are very hard workers. Every single person listening to me, whether you are at work, used to be at work, or otherwise, you are the one who built this economy. Not Bill Gates, not Warren Buffett, not the Koch brothers. The Koch brothers all depended on the intellect and many of others. Should they make a lot of money because they had great organizational skills? Absolutely. But we should have not ever allowed as a society the accumulation of wealth that removed it from everybody else, because a piece of their action is that money not paid to you. When Kroger made all this money from selling groceries at inflated prices, that's your money. That's somebody saying we have a legal way in which to steal your money because we can. And until we change the paradigm under which we think. In other words, right now, the way we think is that is how the system works. That is fair. That is how it works. That system is man-made. We can always adjust a system so that it has more humane properties, so that mother will never have to worry about, even as she has a full-time job, what's the state of her kids, so that dad doesn't have to worry about his kids or killing himself or not being there for his kids. I started with Kroger and how those prices are not real. Those prices are there simply as legal theft for the shareholders and the executives. But things are going to go downhill a lot faster as we move on with artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is the composite knowledge, the collective knowledge of all of us. Yet, those people who currently control it, while it will allow for the layoffs of millions of Americans would be laid off because these machines now can use our collective knowledge to think, to produce, and a few billionaires are going to collect from our collective knowledge. But again, an economic system is man-made. I look at AI as a great thing. I use AI every day. When I'm researching my blogs, I write my blogs. I give my video prose. I do about 3, 4, 5 video proses every day. I then filter the transcript through AI. I then take that and I go ahead and I write my blog. Okay. It really helps me in finding all the corroborative resources for the things that I have. In other words, I read a lot. I have a lot of information. I can then and get that information corroborated, and I mean it does help. It does the work. I can blog the amount of stuff a 5 or 6 person team has at a newspaper because of AI. But that is a collective knowledge of all of us, right? All of us. It's a collective knowledge of all of us. Now, for a few to profit from that is wrong. But here's what we could do as a society. As a society, we could say, well, since AI is creating this composite knowledge of all of us, what do we do? As a society, we reduce the work week from 40 hours to 20 hours at the same price. And you still make the same amount of money. Because now we have machines that can do the work for us. Not that instead we lay off the people and the money is not paying those people and the healthcare not paying those people and all of that now goes to the billionaire who gets even more billions. It's a different thought process. It's understanding where the knowledge comes from. It's understanding who does the work. And Americans have worked so hard that we have created AI together. Because what AI does is it takes the knowledge of everybody. It takes the knowledge of every single New York Times reporter, every single New York Post reporter, every single Washington Post reporter, every blog that was ever written in the world, every science paper that was ever written in the world. It puts that all together with machine power. And who invented the machines? The engineers from 100 years ago started the process. All of this collective knowledge is turned into AI. Everything that you've done, your actions, you go to work every day. You time clock yourself. You answer an email. You do all these things you do as a human being. AI absorbs that as well. This is how people in this part of Houston behaves. All of that is your work. And to have just a few people profit from that, it's not only wrong, it is again legal theft. And as a society, what we have to do is understand these processes. And in understanding these processes, we can elect people who acknowledge these processes and write laws so that free enterprise can reign. In other words, you can do as you please, but that the collective knowledge is paid for. And how is that paid for? No longer do you have a 20-hour work week. I mean, a 40-hour work week. We reduce the work week commensurate with where we have delegated other work to be done. So, folks, what I'm asking of all of you is not buy the crap you hear on TV every day about, not buy the crap about believing that billionaires have worth or there's something special about a billionaire that you don't have. Because, like I've always said, I believe in my garbage man much more than I believe in a stockbroker. I have more faith in a janitor than I have in a stockbroker. And I'm not saying that to be cool. I mean that from the depths of my heart. I have more faith in my mechanic. The people that are actually making our society function, when COVID hit, we realized the value of people kind of quickly. We realized the value that people had. And the people that had the least value were those people that are the ones that are running the capitalist markets. Anyway, with that, let me run and get to Peter. Peter, come on in, my dear friend. And I'm taking calls, folks, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. I would love to hear your thoughts. Did you like what I said? Do you acknowledge what I say? What do you think? Peter, come on in.
Hey, Egberto and Politics Done Right family. It's your friend Peter, and of course, that's the great monologue there about the AI. And of course, when it comes to our lawmakers, they're the ones who set our rules. So AI, if that's the part of it, it needs to be fairness. And what I called about something different, but and happy Friday and to all the folks listening. And I'd like to ponder a thought I had. I was pondering after I was watching the debate about opinions versus fact. So we know the whole Haitian immigrant problem in Springfield, Ohio. It's a concern to probably most of the people who live there. However, However, my Republican friends, when we start, mixing this opinion versus fact, and then when a president starts to quote stuff as facts that pets are being eaten without any facts, that becomes where opinion and fact mix. So that's what my question would be for everyone listening. Like, are you entitled to your own opinions, or can you make up facts? So I was just pondering that thought. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. What do you think?
No, actually, you're right. I mean, Peter, I don't have anything to add to that. Peter, you're right. I mean, you're not entitled to your own facts. You're entitled to your own opinions, yeah, but facts will trump opinion every single time. And the thing about what they're doing with the immigrant thing is a very calculated thing. It's meant to split us into not only racially, gender-wise, culturally. It's trying to do a whole lot of splits so that there will be chaos during the election and beyond. And what I'm saying that we have to do is, look, I always say the solution to everything is love, right? I mean, if I sit down and I love everybody, right, honestly, and I'm not trying to be coy, if I just sit down and say, I'm going to start by just loving that person I'm interacting with, then none of the other stuff matters. And then we can really concentrate on the things that matter. And that is where we got to get. But Peter, my lines are filling up. So let me just give you a plug. And that is, Peter is running for state district, congressional district 2 here in Texas. And I wish you very much good luck on your race.
My friend. Thank you.
You have a wonderful day. Got to go, Peter.
Absolutely. Thanks for the plug. Have a great day.
You too, my brother. Let's go to Patrick. Come on in, Patrick.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You were talking a little bit about reducing hours and maintaining the same amount of pay.
Yes.
The cartoon, The Jetsons, that was actually what they were basing the cartoons, The Jetsons, on. At that time, when they had to try and sell automation and robotics to the labor of the United States, they were making the same promise and saying that the increase in production would cover the loss of hours. And that's why you saw the George Jetson press a button in the beginning of the day and the end of the day. They were promising a life like that to everybody. And the only people that benefited were the parasites, the billionaires that you talk about.
Right.
We can talk about Gates. You said Gates is a good person. I think that you try and be generous with a lot of people. I don't think there are any good billionaires out there. They wouldn't be billionaires if they were good people. And I'd like to hold up the Gates Foundation as an example. Third world practices for farming are 10 times more efficient than our farming. It takes about 10 calories of input for an industrial farm to produce one calorie of food. Organic farming done with a draft animal as a 1-to-1 ratio, and it also provides more jobs. In the United States, around the time of the Depression, 33% of the people in the United States were farmers. Now it's 2%.
Patrick, let me tell you, can I go ahead? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, sir.
No, anytime, please. I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Okay, here's the interesting thing, Patrick. I love seeing machines and technology and all of that kind of stuff. It looks cool, but remember, it's just replacing, you're right, the ox and all that kind of stuff, right? Now, I didn't know that statistic you just told me. I just learned something that if you use other methods of farming, it actually produces more. The thing about it is like I told in the beginning of the monologue, anytime a corporation does something for efficiency, remember, it's not for the efficiency of the humans, it's for the efficiency of the corporations to make more money. And I think if we extrapolate what you just said, that's exactly right. Because organic farming, if it takes the same amount of calories to produce food by using the other things, that says a lot, right? Because it says a lot. I have a lot of calls, so I don't want to go into further expand what you said, but you just gave me a hell of a food for thought for a further blog, because wow, that's powerful.
Let me finish. Bill Gates and independent studies have gone in after him in areas that he's gone to quote unquote help. and worse off. And he knows this, but he keeps doing it because he's trying to buy a legacy. He's trying to tell everybody in the world. He knows he's doing damage. I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate your call, and thanks for that other thing. I got to look into that. Let's go to Brother Johnny. Johnny, you're on.
Yeah, to dovetail what you've been talking about today. Remember when, I don't know when you were growing up in Panama, if you have the same experience that we did growing up in New York and other places in the United States. But when I was growing up, part of the background noise in my head was Carnegie Endowment for the Arts, Rockefeller Center, where the Legacy Media is headquartered, the Modern Museum of Art, named after somebody whose name I can't remember, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, one of the callers mentioned that, the Menil Foundation here in Houston.
Right.
Now, the current generation, they have Minute Maid Park. And the Koch brothers has had a hospital or a cancer wing named after him. And those are just two examples of many that I cannot recall right now in my 65-year-old brain. But I think you get the point. There's all kinds of subterfuge going on with regards to rebranding and cleansing one's business reputation, should I say.
You nailed it. And that is how the benevolence started. In other words, I ripped, here's the thing, Johnny, that I try to explain a lot of times, right? If I'm a thief, right, and you have $1,000 in your pocket and I steal that money from you, you don't know who I am. I steal that money from you. I take the whole $1,000. And then you're at the store and you need to buy $100 worth of groceries for your family. I miss you, Johnny. I hope you're listening, Johnny, but I want to add on this. So you have $1,000. I steal that $1,000 from you. I see you at the store. And while you're at the store, you need $100 for groceries to feed your kids and family. And I go ahead. The guy who stole that $1,000 gave you the $100. If you don't know that I'm the one who stole the money from you, you're like, this nice person in my time of dire straits gave me $100. In my time of dire straits, this guy gave me $100. Now, if you knew that he took your whole $1,000, you know there's nothing good about him. He's just giving you back a piece of what he stole from you. That is how I look at when corporations form foundations and all that sort of stuff right now. They take, and to fix their name, then they have all these charities that they give to. Johnny, do you get a chance to hear what I just said?
No, because my line went dead. I heard part of it. But let me just add one last thing. I predict that in a not-too-distant future, we're going to see these emergency rooms that used to be part of hospitals, as they're being brought up by these private equity in Manhattan, they're going to be named after people that have a bad reputation in the business community. We're going to see names like, I don't know, let's say the Koch brother emergency room at UTMB. And in the case of my veterinarian
Johnny, I got to go. But before I go, Johnny, I got to go because I got two more calls and a little bit of time. But here's the thing, Johnny. I want you and all of us to realize that we have to fight that emergency room thing that's occurring. What we're doing is we're turning over our healthcare system into profit centers, and there's nothing good that comes out of that. Oh, they're popping up emergency rooms all over this thing. And have you ever been to one? I had to fight with one, and until I told them that I was going to blog about them, for being in that place for 1 hour, it was over $5,000. Let me tell you something. We have to arrest what's occurring in healthcare. We can't say this is how it's going to be, Johnny. We have to say we are going to stop it from what's happening right now.
And it's not just healthcare for humans. Donald Trump talked about eating cats and dogs. Donald, if you're listening, how about the veterinary clinic I bring my dog to? They sold that to a private equity firm now. So maybe a year from now, it'll be called not Henderson's veterinary clinic. It'll be something from Manhattan, I guess, huh?
There you go. Donald? There you go. All right, Johnny, we talk later. Let's go to Brother Bard.
Yes, sir. I wanted to respond to Peter and Johnny. The population of Springfield, Ohio was 40,000, and they imported 20,000 Haitian immigrants who were, less than a year ago, they were cannibalistic in their own country. There's videos, there's 911 calls, there's people skinning and eating cats in the driveway. So why would, let's go back to the debate. Why would the moderator, quote unquote, David Muir, call the city manager before the debate to ask about this if it wasn't true?
All right, let's back up there. First of all, wait, hold on. Bart, hold on a second. Bart, you just made likely the most culturally racist statement I think has ever been made on my program thus far. And I think it shows, it tells, wait, stop. I'm not done. Hold. You can say it, the truth hurts. I mean, let me warn you. I don't know who you are specifically, but let me tell you, you have no cultural advantage. You have no social advantage over a Haitian. Let me remind you what the people who colonized America did, because you seem to have a shallow memory, my dear brother. But we committed genocide when we formed this country. We enslaved the people when we formed this country. We did evil upon humanity when we formed this country. So please don't ever believe that you have some superiority to any other culture out there. Now, when it comes to the skinning of cats and all that kind of stuff, there's a whole lot of people that have looked into that. But let's assume there were 10 or 20 or 30 Haitians that have skinned cats. Then let me go ahead and talk about how many white men have done things that are very, very evil, from eating people and having their bodies in their freezers. And I don't judge my brother Howard and my white brother Howard and my white brother Jack because of what they've done. That would make me a pseudo stupid racist, and I'm not. I respect my two brothers in that studio because of who they are. What you just said, my dear brother, about the cannibalistic Haitian speaks more about you and about your level of intellect than it does about the Haitians. By the way, understand the amount of Haitians that are over here. Many of them, my friends, that are engineers that are building this country up, while you sit back and have your mind polluted by those who find you easy and gullible to do so. Let's go to Brian. I am at this point disgusted by somebody with a mindset that could say what you've just said. Come on in, Brian.
Good morning. I hope everybody has a good weekend. I'm going to have Dan Crenshaw call you since you gave a political plug to his adversary.
Guess what? I would be happy. Listen, I've asked him to call in. I want to talk to Dan Crenshaw on air, just like I just did with Peter, because I have a lot of questions for the brother. Continue, sir.
Yeah, thanks for cutting in after about 30 seconds, and you let everybody else ramble on.
I'm letting you talk. Go ahead.
You just cut me off again. Okay. Who's the biggest,
Brian.
Individual? Who is the biggest individual farm owner? Bill Gates. You ever heard of Bill Gates Foundation?
Of course I have.
Who's it run by? Yeah, who's it run by? Bill Gates.
It's run by the foundation. Of course, I don't know who else.
Who owns
his wife?
His wife, and the man that and the man that runs Berkshire Hathaway.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's yes.
Foundation. Yeah, heard of the foundation?
Tell me your point. Don't ask me what I know. Just tell me your point.
It's almost $1 billion. It's worth almost $1 billion, and you always play the race card, no matter what happens. It was the Spaniards that conquered this nation first, from Florida to New Mexico to California. It was the Spaniards.
So what's the difference? Spaniards or English? They're both Europeans, sir. They're both Europeans. Learn your history. I got to go to Donald. Thank you, Brian, because I don't know what you're saying. Let's go to Brian. I'm into Donald.
Good morning, Egberto. Real quick.
Good morning, my brother.
Y'all always talking about more than one way to skin a cat. Somebody's letting the cat out of the
Stop it.
They come from the country. What is wrong with you guys? What do you expect? They're just showing you another way how to skin a cat. But no, it's all good, man. Have a good weekend.
Donald, I'll try to find you and slap you around this weekend, my brother. Have a good one. Anyway, let's jump to the studio.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right. Studio, come on in, Jack. My brothers.
Yeah, put down that knife. He was over here skinning a cat. No, he likes cats. He wouldn't do such a thing. And I love cats myself. I just like those funny cat videos, not the ones with them in the oven. But here we go. Oh, we're off the rails.
I'm a dog person myself, really, so cat. I forgot my thought what I was going to say, so I'm.
Oh no! Don't do that, Jack. Don't do that, Jack. We need to hear your voice, Jack.
It's gone,
and we are.
Anyway, folks, look, love all of you. I can't tell you how disappointed I am in Bard. I can't tell you how disappointed I am in that. But anyway, my dear brothers and sisters, I love you all. Even you, Bard. There is a way for grace, Bard. Anyway, folks, listen. I have a lot on the show that wasn't spoken about today. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out. Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It. As I See It, Class Warfare, the Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willies.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.